Morning, everybody. How you all doing? Good. First of all, I just want to say a big thank you to Zakia and the BFI Film Academy for having me. I'm so honored to be here, and thank you to all of you for taking the time to be here on a Monday morning. I'm sure you all know so much about the man we're about to talk to. He's truly one of the best filmmakers in the industry, and his movies are not only commercially and critically successful, they're also really important for the culture. These movies include Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther, and Sinners. So everybody, please help me welcome Ryan Coogler. Welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here. I just want to say, I grew up in Kenya, born and raised in Kenya, and we don't particularly have the biggest, cinema-going culture, but people come out for your movies every single time, so it's such an honor to speak to you.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here with you all. So everybody, some folks came from the city, but some folks came from maybe other parts. I'm hearing, like anybody from Liverpool here. No, Liverpudlians. Anybody? So somebody came from Northern Ireland.
Woo,
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's awesome. Scott, anybody come from Scotland? Oh, Scottish folks. So who came from London, from the city? Most okay, big time. Okay, and then who didn't come from London but came from close? Where'd y'all come from? Oh wow, Bristol. Okay. Oh man, it's so cool. Thank y'all. It means a lot to see you all and to spend time with you all. Like normally I do these year-end events and it's folks, in different academies and whatnot, more established people in their career. So it's very energizing to see you guys and to know that the business is set up to be in good hands.
Okay, so let's start. You're amongst the oldest in the room. Everybody in the audience is between 16 to 25, myself included. So we just really want to get some wisdom from you today.
I got you. Yeah.
So the first
I'll see if I can help.
please. The first question I have, I want you to take us back 20 years ago when you were a teenager and you were actually on track to have a career in sports and science. So at what point did you decide to pursue the arts as a profession?
Yeah. So I was 20 years ago. Shit. I was I would have been 19. So I would have been like in my second year of undergrad. Yeah, second year undergrad. I was in Sacramento, California. And I had just done wait, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I guess right-ish. My first year of college, I was on a football scholarship, like American football. Now we call it y'all football soccer. And I was majoring in chemistry, and I had a teacher in a creative writing class that I was taking because it was a liberal arts college that made you take, creative writing. And so I took this woman's class. Her name was Rosemary Graham. Never forget it. She kind of read an assignment that I wrote and then recommended that I write screenplays. And I grew up loving movies. Always liked watching them with my family, and was kind of known as like a movie guy, but like not in a way that I would ever consider making them. Just more as somebody like who enjoyed watching them and talking about them. But yeah, like she made that recommendation, and I was getting my ass kicked in chemistry class. It wasn't compatible with like the football schedule, so I was looking to change majors anyway. And that school, out of nowhere, dropped their football program. So I started to get recruited to other schools and ended up going to school in Sacramento. Switched my major to finance, but I took a film minor while I was there, and was every year that would pass, I would fall more and more in love with the idea of becoming a filmmaker, and that kind of made the other things I was doing. I could kind of feel them not becoming less important, but you know, I could feel my focus kind of shifting. And I'm sure y'all have had experiences like that, right? Where you guys are and then I'm sure I got like the pressure, right, from the family to get a stable job. Yeah, that's real, you know.
Yeah.
So I was kind of, you know, I was kind of battling those things too. But I had gotten a lot of affirmations from my teachers, and it ended up by the time I was like 20, 21, finishing up my college football career, applied to film school in LA, and I went and did it, you know, essentially full time.
Okay. So after uni, I mean, you worked on really big projects very early on in your career. You did Fruitvale Station right after you left uni, and you were already attending such big festivals, you know, Sundance, Cannes, and working for some of the biggest studios in the industry. How did you essentially have the courage to step up to the plate and not fumble like millions of dollars, you know, new projects? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I felt the pressure every time, you know, I think, yeah, I think like my background helped quite a bit. Playing football is pretty high pressure situations, you know, I play receiver, and like next to quarterback, I would say, is it a weird echo? A little bit, slight. Hello. Is that better? Not really. Yeah, like playing receiver is like a real pressurized position, because you know the ball is in the air. You know what I mean? In you don't want to drop it. You know, and that was how I was paying for college, right? You know, you know, if you don't do well, you can lose your scholarship. So, and then film school was like crazy expensive. It was, you know, I think I graduated like almost 200 grand in debt. You know, and for you know, for me, that was, you know, that was a lot of money. It was more money than I ever could make. You know, it was you know, a lot more than my parents made annually. You know what I mean? So I always had this pressure of like, hey man, it's, you know, I gotta do all I can to make sure this works. But at the same time, you know, you know, you have the fears there always. You know, it was there on my last project, right? You know, what if this thing is not good, or what if people aren't interested, don't care, they don't show up to go watch, you know. And when I was in film school, it was like, yo, what if this, you know, short film I'm working on and people are doing basically for free, what if it doesn't get in any festivals? You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, and nobody it comes out not great. I think that's like just like a part of being a person. You know what I mean? Having to work in the face of the possibility of failure or embarrassment. And you just gotta get yourself used to it, I think. You know, as best you can. You know, and with the understanding that you are a human being. If you're a creative person, you probably gonna also over-index on anxiety. You know what I mean? It's just natural part of the process. You know, you're gonna have daily crises of self-confidence. You know, in learning that's, you know, basically just like normalizing it. You know, and understanding your process, understanding like what's necessary in terms of the craft, and trusting in it. You know.
Okay. Comes to the job.
Yeah.
Basically.
And each time I had help, you know, like that's the other piece too. Is like, you know, filmmaking is you know, by the time somebody greenlights one of these movies, it's usually like a lot of experienced people in the mix. You know, you know, for instance, is this cycling? That's the only picture there? Okay. Yeah, so that's Autumn there, my cinematographer. You know, and she's you know, she got her set of experience that she'll bring to the set. You know, she's shot more movies anamorphically than I have, for instance. You know what I mean? So if I got questions about what an anamorphic lens is doing, she can say, "Oh man, you know, like don't worry, it'll be like this or it'll be like that." On Fruitvale, I had Forrest Whitaker who was producing it, and his partner Nina Yang Bon Jovi, and they had way more experience. My experience was zero on a professional set. You know what I'm saying? And Forrest had been doing it for decades, right? So you know he's there, and I can you know I'm not on my own, right? You know, we hire Octavia Spencer, right? Yeah. Who's incredibly experienced. Michael B. Jordan was a crazy experience by the time I started working with him. So you know you can leverage the experience, the knowledge of those around you, in a way that helps take some of the pressure off. I would say. In each film, it was I would look up and find myself, you know, surrounded by people who had done it quite a bit. You know, up until this most recent one, we were, you know, found myself in a position where I had done it quite a bit. The people I started with had done it quite a bit. So we were leveraging our own experience, and you know, it's a beautiful thing.
Makes sense. So looking at your body of work, there are similar threads in the different films. There's, you know, you talk about Black masculinity, sports, Black liberation, and cultural representation. Is this something you planned or knew you always wanted to do, or is this something that just developed organically as you were making your films?
Yeah. I mean, thematically, I think less planning around theme, I would say. That was more like a natural development. Exploring things that I was interested in at the time, you know, when I was making the projects. As far as like the films having like you know, Black people in the movies, you know what I mean? Like in on screen. That was something that was more purposeful. Just because I think growing up in the States in the time when I grew up, and I think it's probably, I gotta imagine it's similar here. There was a distance between like the world that I saw every day, you know, in my family and in the area where I was from, and then what was represented on screen, right? You know, and I would see, you know, movies where it'd be like, you know, it'd be like a cast of like 15 people and maybe like one Black person. Maybe no Latino people or maybe one Asian American person. You know what I mean? And it didn't reflect. It didn't always reflect my reality or even like the world as I knew it. So I felt like an opportunity to bring some balance to that. You know, if I got the chance, and it seemed like I might get the chance. You know, and the other thing that I learned was like, you know, I still like I could watch a movie with like a all white cast or even when I started going to film school and started watching foreign cinema, you know, and started watching movies like cinema out of Hong Kong or Japan, for instance, you know, with or even like Eastern Europe, like with more homogenous societies, I would still like enjoy the movie. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy the filmmaking, connect with the characters. So it was like, oh, maybe I can, you know, maybe I can build films around characters that look like the world that I come up in, or look like the world as it is, and I can have the expectation that no matter where somebody is from, they can still, watch the movie and relate to the characters and enjoy it. Because I know I was on the other end of that spectrum so much. So it was like a motivating principle for me, for sure, when I got started.
Yeah. You're one of many firsts, and you're the first African American director for Marvel Studios. Black Panther was the highest grossing ever film for a black person. You are on the first African American producing team to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. What's it like trying to build a career without a blueprint when you've not necessarily seen people in the positions you're trying to head towards? And I know there's another added layer of it because, you were joining this career which you didn't plan to go into, which necessarily wasn't presented to you as an option before. No necessarily connections in the industry. Yeah, how was that?
That's a great question. To be honest, I don't think about that. Like when you listen to that stuff, I don't feel like I don't feel like there isn't a blueprint. Is a better way of saying it. I have so many mentors and so much guidance that's available to me, and there's been so many successful black filmmakers, in ways maybe that's not like in the categories that you just named, but you have like I don't know if there's like Tyler Perry, for instance, right? He's a black man from the States. I think Tyler might be from Louisiana or Georgia, but I mean, I'll have to think. I don't know if there's like 5 filmmakers that are more financially successful than Tyler.
Yeah.
White, black, whatever. You know what I mean? And he was always very public about like how he went about his business, like building that studio for himself. Mm-hmm. When we shot Black Panther, we were the first movie to shoot on his studios that he built in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And then we came back with Black Panther 2 and shot almost all our studio work on a studio that he owned. It was crazy. You know what I mean? Like I said, Forrest, John Singleton, rest in peace. I was able to form a relationship with him. Spike Lee, I was able to form a relationship with him. Spike and I still talk regularly. And so I had a lot of, like I said, Forrest Whitaker bet on me early. I had a lot of guidance along the way, and I had a lot of guidance from people that aren't black. You know what I mean? Working with Sylvester Stallone, he would give me career advice, creative advice, business advice. A lot of executives at Disney since I've been working there have become mentors. Bob Iger, Alan Bergman, Alan Horn when he was at Disney. They would kind of give me insights on how to navigate the circumstances that I might find myself in. And yeah, I think that's a big part of the community, right? That's what you guys have here, right? Like when you have a community, one person does one thing and you kind of reach back and help put a person up so they can go do the next thing and when you look up collectively you cut in a path. I'm not necessarily keeping track of what I'm the first person to do. You know what I mean? It feels more like we collectively making headway. What's exciting to me is I'm not the last black person to direct the movie. You know what I mean? More people have come. After. then hopefully in 20 more years, it's not something that people even think about. You know what I mean? Like it just is a reality that you know, you're gonna have these movies, you're gonna have, you know, black folks making them. You know what I mean? Represented in you know, all types of budget levels, genres, content. You know, so yeah, I feel like it's kind of like that, like that more than anything. That's probably why I'm not thinking about it much. You know.
I was actually gonna ask, like, I mean, considering the group of people we have here, like you've spoken about mentors and community, like how do you, I guess we're all in phases where no one really likes networking, and like it's kind of
You
like
said nobody likes networking?
yeah, like it has this sort of like
Some people
shadow,
do.
If it true,
Any
some
y'all
people
like networking? Your hand up high if you like networking. Yeah, that's pretty.
Okay,
that's
fair.
pretty good. Yeah.
How do you like form? How do you move from like a conversation? Any tips on like to like having like this deep mentorship relationships? Like any tips on like really truly forming relationships that will last you throughout your career and like be impactful?
I think like I'm not the world's greatest networker myself. I was okay at it, you know what I mean? But I got anxiety, you know, there that can nip me pretty good in the room, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember being young, you know, like you guys are, and like wondering if I was a fraud, you know what I mean? Like not wanting to say the wrong thing. I used to have business cards when I was in film school, and I used to hand people 2 of them. You know what I mean? Sometimes 3. Like, you know, it was crazy. And one time a guy was like, "Hey, I just need 1." You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh shit." But yeah, like the reality is, I think kindness. You know what I'm saying? Like you after almost a couple of decades doing this shit, like you'd be surprised, like how far just being kind to people and like being present in those networking spaces, how far that'll get you, you know, because nobody stays in the same place. they are, you know, when you meet them. Like I can't tell you how many times, you know, I've shown up to Q&As for movies, you know, by a filmmaker everybody's excited about, you know what I mean, and I meet the filmmaker and I say, "Hey, I remember meeting you at this thing, and you were so kind." You know what I mean? Or you know, you talked to me for 5-10 minutes about this, that, and the third. And it might be an interaction that, because I've had so many that I can't necessarily recall until they remind me. But you know, and I've been at those events where, you know, you're talking to somebody and they looking kind of past you to see who else they could talk to, you know, who maybe has more momentum in their career right now or whatever, you know what I mean, or they say something unkind or belittling, you know what I'm saying. You remember that kind of shit too, right? So that's number one. And then I think that if you find people that are kind of at your level, you know, who actually could like use your help, you know, not in a way where you like picking them up, which is nice, but like in a way like, hey, I'm shooting this weekend, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to find somebody who can hold a boom, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, oh yeah, well, I could come hold a boom. I'm shooting next weekend, man. I need somebody to you know, produce for me, and I can do that. You know, that kind of thing. So many of the great, you know, relationships that drive the industry forward started like that. You know, like I actually don't know any filmmakers who who don't work with somebody who that relationship started like that. You know, and you'll find that actually protects you, you know, down the road. You know, when you get your first big job, and you got somebody there who actually knew you before, you know what I mean, knows how you roll, know you're a good person, know what you like, what you don't like. Man, that's like having a you know, a gold coin in your pocket, like when you're going into these rooms, because it's invaluable. You know what I mean? It just becomes invaluable. And y'all do another thing. I'll tell y'all like whatever y'all want to do, cinematography or directing and producing. Do the math on the producers, the filmmakers that you admire. You know what I mean? Like how many of y'all like Ryan Johnson, for instance? He does the Knives Out movies, right? He works with a guy named Ron Bergman, who he's worked with forever. Like way back when he did his first movie. Ron was producing his first movie. That's how they linked up, and now they can go do a movie at Netflix and maintain their creative integrity. They can go do a movie with Disney and maintain their creative integrity because they have that, because they have that relationship. So when you're starting out, like it's an opportunity to find your people, so to speak, and really build something.
Okay, so I want to take some questions from all of them now. And we basically had everyone send a question in. I'm going to have a few people ask you something. So when I call your name out, please introduce yourself and then you can ask Ryan your question. First up, we have Alicia.
That's lovely question. You say from Leicester?
Yeah, Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah.
Is that got a C in it?
Yeah.
So confusing. Yeah. That's awesome though. Yeah. I come from like a big family. That's very emotional, touchy feely in each other's business. And to be honest, like the community that I'm from is like that, very egalitarian and prideful and working class, It's a community that hates bullies, you know what I mean? Like in loves the inherent diversity that's there, So I think that and I've been there my whole life. I still live there now. My wife is from there. So it was no way that my filmmaking wasn't gonna be affected by, those very real realities and it's also kind of how I see the world. Like even when people are unique and idiosyncratic and maybe when they're loners, where they from, how they came up, it still affects them, in that principle, I think it just helps kind of ground me. Excuse me, it helps ground me, and I think it helps ground narratives, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next we have Chris.
Yeah. It's a good question. Kind of related to your colleagues. Yeah, like I was mentioning playing football. I did that since from like I was 8 years old to 21. And it's kind of like, so I'm from the big family and from the close neighborhood, and then played football my whole life. So I'm definitely like a guy that seems like sees a value in team building, for sure. And I think that's what kind of drew me to filmmaking. What actually is what kept me in it, I would say. Like I got in it from like writing, which is like a pretty solo operation, But when I got to film school and started to understand like the crewing up process and all of the different jobs that people could have, it's almost like a paramilitary system, you know what I mean? Like a film crew, and football is kind of built like that too. So I was really like happy to find that, and I think just naturally, um, uh, I ended up, building a group of people that um, um, it felt nice to work with, you know, and the this business is like rhythm, you know what I'm saying, um, you guys know what I mean by that, like y'all all have made things. I'm assuming some of y'all, is it 16 to 25 or so, like some of y'all are like just like incredibly young, but everybody's who hasn't made anything yet, not to embarrass you, because everybody's in here has made something. I see your hand, sweetheart. Where you from? London. Okay, you working on something? Okay, good. Yeah, so like you guys know, like the first day is kind of always the hardest, you know, and then like it progressively gets, you find your rhythm, you know, you know who you know how to get how to move faster, who to go to do your thing, you know, and the whole goal, I think, in once you become a professional, is to find your rhythm and try to stay in it, and everybody has one, like you're fine, some people got a rhythm like they make a movie every 5-6 years, you know what I'm saying, and that's their rhythm, you got other people that make a movie every couple of years, and that's their rhythm, and if you look at the people who work as often as maybe, like you would want to work, or you got a filmmaker who you like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you like Kenneth Lonergan, that dude make a movie every like 20 years, you know what I mean? Or you like a filmmaker like Luca Guadagnino, who makes a movie every 6 months, it seems like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of look at them and then look at like, well, who are they working with? You know what I mean? Are they using the same writers, the same cinematographers, the same producers, the same composers? You know what I mean? You can kind of see, everybody kind of has that. Like the ultimate goal is to kind of find how you like to work, and to be able to get there and deliver there, right? So what I found was like, I found a rhythm early. I found that I like working with people who I know, who I can trust. I get in my head a lot if I don't know somebody. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure out like what they thinking, if they comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Which can you can lose a lot of time and momentum like that. So it's great, man, when you can get a group that you love, that loves you back, and y'all can just kind of get to it.
Thanks so much. That really helped.
Yeah, right on.
I want to expand on Chris's question to basically speak about your work and how you're trying to help other people form their own networks and communities, because you and your wife started a production company, Proximity Media, and you have your own paid internship program. Can you tell us what that process has been so far, what the outcomes have been for the people?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my wife, Zenzi Coogler, and I, like I said, we grew up together. She's from the same neighborhood, and she's been a part of my creative process from the beginning, and we recently like made it official. I want to say in 2018, after the first Black Panther. We had a friend of ours named Charles King, who's got a production company called Macro, and he was the one who kind of recommended that we do it at that time. We recruited a friend of ours, a colleague of ours named Sev Ohanian, who was a producer on Fruitvale, and was a screenwriter and producer as well. I don't know if y'all ever seen this movie called Searching. It all takes place over screens on a laptop. He wrote and produced that, actually with his wife and another filmmaker. But yeah, we recruited Sev, and we started our production company, Proximity. We had a couple gold movies like kind of out the box. Judas and the Black Messiah by Shaka King and Malcolm Lee. Space Jam: A New Legacy. Did a movie with LeBron, which was crazy, like in between his basketball seasons. and then those movies got hit by the pandemic. You know, ended up going day and date. But then we produced Michael B. Jordan, who I heard came and talked to y'all maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, with Creed 3. Yeah, so we produced his directorial debut, Creed 3, together, and we've done quite a bit of television. We got a great podcast y'all should check out. It's called In Proximity, where we talk to people that work in the business, up and coming filmmakers, veterans, you know, all the stuff. Yeah, one of the great things that happened was one of our assistants. He's a exec now on the TV side, but his name's Desi Gallegos, and Sev hired him, you know, like fresh out of undergraduate school. Desi will fit in real well with y'all. I think he in the age box of this. Yeah. But incredible young man who spent a lot of time in education, you know, and he was kind of advocating to us. He was saying, hey man, it's such a great process, man. You know, it'd be really cool if we had an internship program here. And we were busy trying to make. I think we was working on Creed, and he was like, man, I'll build a deck. You know what I mean? Like, I'll bring it to y'all and pitch y'all on what it could be. And we loved it. And for me, you know, this is back to being from Oakland. I don't like people working and not getting paid. You know what I mean? So we figured out a way to pay the folks who do the internship, and it's been rocking. Tara, it's been 3 years, or yeah, we had some really impressive folks come through, man. So it's been incredibly rewarding, and it's one of those things where it was a community thing. Neither Zenzi, Sev, or myself were thinking about having an internship, but one of our younger colleagues advocated for it, and now it's one of the best things about the company, I would say.
That's amazing. Before we move on to the next question, I'd like us to play a clip from the film. I think this is one of the best movie scenes I've ever watched in my life. I got goosebumps the first time I saw it. So could you please play I Lied to You? Yeah, it's amazing. I love that scene so much.
Right on.
So Daniela has a question in relation to that.
Felt good. Yeah, it was really fun to shoot that. How many writers in here? All the writers? Oh wow. Shit, what kind of movies y'all make, man? I'm curious now. Horror movies. Thrillers. Who do the psychological dramas? Who do those? That's what I'm talking about. Who do like the social realists? You know what I'm saying? Some hard hitting. Yeah, that's what's up. You get your Ken Loach on. Yeah. Who likes Andrea Arnold in here? Who do stuff like that? Anybody? Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Man, I'm excited. I'd rather talk to y'all about y'all movies to keep it 100. But for me, like the writing process, I try to lose myself in it as much as I can, and I was like a part where I always knew Sammy was gonna have to perform, you know, and I always knew for the movie to make sense it was gonna have to be like a really great performance, you know. But you know, when I got there, with all the research that I was doing and the excitement that I had about doing a movie with supernatural elements, you know, the two concepts kind of coalesced, I think, into kind of like ripping a hole through in space time, you know, and I thought it'd be cool to put these people who had the luck of being born in 1932, which was a particularly tough time to be black in you know in the States. You know, I thought it'd be cool to juxtapose them with the people who they were related to, who were like outside of that timeline. I was so restrictive on what you could be, you know, if that makes sense. And yeah, you know, I knew people was gonna be getting like, you know, their throats ripped open by vampires in this movie. So I was like, man, maybe I could give them some like supernatural and like nice, you know, to balance it. And yeah, like you know, like midpoints are super important. You know, like it was something that I learned, like after I like around like the time of my third movie. You know, I was working on Panther 1, and my producer was like, hey, what's the midpoint of this movie? And I was like, man, what's the midpoint? You know, and it was, you know, I was a little embarrassed by it because I spent a lot of money on school, and I wrote a lot, and I didn't really know, you know, like, and what it turns out, I was making them, you know what I mean? But I just wasn't calling them the midpoint. I didn't know, you know, like that. That was what it was. But like, do y'all know what a midpoint is? Who's nodding, and got the you know, enough of it to like shout it out to the rest of the folks.
It's like the midway point of the film where things change.
Uh-huh.
And before then, you're kind of establishing that change, and you're kind of just like living in that world.
Uh-huh.
You get to the midpoint, it's like everything after that is like a 180 of like everything that's happened before.
That's a fucking great description. Anybody got another one? I seen you was pretty. Paradigm. You might know what a paradigm is now. Paradigm of the movie shifts. Yep. Yeah. How it was explained to me in a way that was like really helpful. And I think both of y'all are absolutely correct as I understand it, right? But how it was explained to me was like the midpoint is where you tell the audience like what the movie really is about, you know. And I love that idea because what that means is like before you're not telling them, which is kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Like it kind of flies in the face of what a first act is supposed to be, and you know your second act. Do y'all rock with a 5-act structure out here? Because y'all so close to Shakespeare. Do y'all rock with a 5-act? Yes, no, yes, kind of. Y'all been taught the 5-act method. Can y'all explain 5 acts to me? No, I'm joking. It was more questions, right? Did I answer yours? So it felt good to make that scene. That's how it came to me. Oh, IMAX. Yeah. So they really heavy. They really loud. Chris Nolan, who's one of y'all fellow countrymen, they made a new camera for him that's quieter but heavier. I'm still talking to him about how that worked. You know, you guys are in your youth. Will probably by the time y'all ready for the IMAX camera, they'll be even lighter and quieter. You know what I mean? But as it stands right now, they're very challenging to work with, but very rewarding. You know, so that scene was done all on a Steadicam. So it was an ex-football player named Rennie, who was our Steadicam op. Very strong, very fit, Haitian American guy, and he was you know, running with that thing in a way like once it's strapped in like 110 pounds, and it can only hold, you know, roughly 70 seconds of footage. So that scene is you know, we hit a lot of cuts in there. You know, y'all know about hiding cuts, I'm sure. Y'all probably all over TikTok and all of that good shit, right? Yeah, so we hit cuts, you know, in there and broke it up. So it was challenging but really fun.
Thank you. I have a couple more questions, so we're going to make it quick from Sierra and Felix. Yeah, so.
You always have to find innovation for any movie. Every movie has its own particular issue, you know. For this movie, we had several, but for even like way back when I was making my short films, it was always something like where you realize what you're trying to do, and it's like, oh man, how are we gonna get this thing done? And you figure it out. I think that you know, I could take you down the line. It was rarely technological for me. That didn't come until I I would say maybe. Oh yeah. So Fruitvale, right? My first movie. I remember. I don't know if y'all seen that, but we had to deal with the BART trains and shooting on a BART platform. It's our version of the tube where I'm from, and you know we wound up having the because it's it runs like they didn't want us to shut down the station and film, so we had to get in there on the weekends when they were doing like their maintenance. You know what I mean? So it would break down to like 3 hour days where we could actually film. So what we did was we came up with a concept where we would still call a 12-hour day. I think y'all work 10s here. Y'all work 10s. We still do a 12-hour day with a lunch break, knowing that we were only gonna shoot for 3 hours. But what we would do for the 9 hours outside of that is we went to a school across the street and like taped out measurements for everything, and we just rehearsed it. You know what I mean? Like crazy, with all of those measurements, so that right when the station closed, we ran in and and shot everything. So that's one form of it. When it comes to the iPhone, man, those cameras are so much better than what we had when we were coming up, and it's so much lighter, and you guys got the cinema mode. We used to have to spend like thousands of dollars to get our stuff to have that shallow depth of field like y'all have now. We used to have to buy these things called lens adapters. Y'all probably don't even see you nodding. Yeah, y'all probably don't even. Y'all ever heard of a lens adapter? What y'all using lens adapters for?
I use it to get different kinds of lenses.
Oh, but so you using like an adapter to put an actual different lens on your. Okay, so we was using adapters. That shit was a disaster. So like we was actually, we was shooting with a fixed lens, and we're filming a ground glass, right? That we would then buy, and the ground glass would have to shake. You know what I'm saying? So they had a motor in it that then we will attach a cine lens to that. So we actually like filming like a piece of glass, bro. It was a fucking disaster. Like the camera ended up being this long. You know what I'm saying? So like the iPhone is brilliant. I think that you guys will probably know more techniques to use it than I do. But like I would get up on like whatever Danny Boyle is doing. Whatever Steven Soderbergh is doing, and even Sean Baker. You know what I mean? Like he did Tangerine on the iPhone. And try to like track down whatever systems they're using if you want it to look better than it is now.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry, everyone. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have.
Oh, okay.
Ryan has to catch a flight. But we could have continued this conversation.
It's nice spending time with y'all, for real.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time. Yeah.